and welcome. I'm Eleonora from Coastal Crochet, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you a different way to join granny square style motifs. There are so many different ways that granny squares can be joined. What I like about this join is that it's quite stretchy. You can see if you look really closely, this is the join and it's a little bit like a zigzag. It's produced with slip stitches and chains on alternate stitches. I will show you, but it really does produce, as you can see, a nice stretchy join, which is really important for things like garments where you don't want too much restriction in the movement of the fabric. It also produces a completely flat and neat backing, and the front is raised but only a little bit. What I would say is that it's a really good join for using the same colour as the squares that are being joined. If you use a different colour, I will show you because I'll be doing the tutorial in a different colour to really make clear where we're going to be inserting the hook. Here you can see a couple of squares that I've joined in a contrasting colour to give you an idea. But I really think it comes into its own when using the same colour yarn as your squares. So I'll show you how to do it. So get the two squares that you want joining together and place them wrong sides facing each other with the right sides facing outwards. And then insert your hook into the top right corner chain space of the first square, the front square. Not through to the back just yet, just the front square, and then join the yarn, like so. Now I've used a different colour yarn just to really show you the yarn and the stitches as I do this tutorial. Like I said, for this technique I do like using the same colour as used in the outer round of your granny squares, but that's personal preference, and by doing it in a contrasting colour you'll be able to see. So when you've joined the yarn, just make one chain. And now you're going to insert your hook into the corner chain space of the back square. So the very same corner chain space, insert your hook into there, and now simply work a slip stitch. So yarn over hook and just pull through everything. Then we make one chain, like so. Now, if you come back to the front granny square, you'll have your stitches. Now, in this granny square, I've got 4 stitches there, then 3, then 3. It doesn't matter however many you've got in your motif. It doesn't matter, but what you do now is insert your hook into the very first stitch. As normal, insert your hook and then make a slip stitch, which is yarn over and pull through everything on the hook. Now we're making one chain. And now on the rear square, you can see there's the corner chain space. There's the first stitch. We're missing the first stitch and we go into the next stitch along, insert your hook and then yarn over, work a slip stitch like so. And now make one chain. Now on your front square, this is the stitch we came into last time. We missed the next one. Insert your hook into the next stitch along and work a slip stitch. And then make one chain. And now on the square at the back, miss the next stitch along, insert your hook into the next one and work a slip stitch like so, and then make one chain. And we're going to continue with this all the way along. So miss the next stitch on the front square, insert your hook into the next stitch, work a slip stitch, and then make one chain. In the back square, there's the stitch the yarn is coming out of, miss the next stitch, into the next stitch, work a slip stitch, and then make one chain. And what this is producing, if you look now, a little bit of a zigzag effect. You can see that the join is zigzagging between the two granny square motifs, and this is what gives it that lovely, lovely stretch. So continue doing this all the way to the end. Just a few more to do now before at the end of the side. So just carry on working your slip stitches and your 1 chains, missing those alternate stitches. Slip stitch, 1 chain, and then we get to the very final stitch of the side. So you can see on the back square now we are at the final stitch. We're missing the stitch as normal, and then the next stitch is our final stitch. Work a slip stitch in that one just like we have been doing all along. Make 1 chain, and now on the front square we're at the final stitch. We miss that one and work into the corner chain space with a slip stitch, make 1 chain, and then we insert our hook into that corresponding corner chain space on the back square and then work a slip stitch like so, and that is the join complete. So you can see now, looking back, that is the join. When it's done in the same colour you get a more textured effect, and as you can see it is really nice and stretchy. If you want to carry on and you're joining lots of squares, now what you simply do is get your next 2 squares to be joined, and again make sure they are wrong sides together with right sides facing out. Make 1 chain at the end of this join, and then insert your hook into the corner chain space of the front square, the first square to be joined, work a slip stitch, make 1 chain. And now the second square to be joined, the back square, insert your hook into that corner chain space, work your slip stitch, and then make 1 chain. And now we're carrying on exactly what we were doing before. So there's the corner chain space, insert your hook into the first stitch of the front square, work your slip stitch, then make chain 1, and then you've got your second stitch along of the back square, work your slip stitch, then chain 1, and carry on all the way along. And you can see now this is the join, carrying on across like so. Now here you can see a bit where I've joined all the horizontal joins. There's 9 squares here that I am joining, and I've gone across with all the horizontal joins. So now obviously we have these vertical joins to do, and that's done in exactly the same way. So this is the first vertical join, and again you just work exactly the same all the way along here. I will show you what to do when we get to these places where the seams meet. So here you can see I'm doing the vertical join, and I'm nearly at the point where I'm going to meet that horizontal join going across. So I'll show you what to do. Chain 1, so I'm just doing my alternate stitches, slip stitch, chain 1 at the back. I'm now on that final stitch of the side, slip stitch, chain 1, and now just like before, this is the last stitch on the front square. We have that corner chain space, and just like before it will look different because we obviously have this other seam traveling across, but just insert your hook into that corner chain space from that front square only. Make sure you're not going through to the back square, and just work your slip stitch. Make 1 chain and then find that corner chain space on that back square. Okay, it's not as easy to see when you've got this join, this horizontal join going across, but there you can see is that corner chain space. And then when you've located that, insert your hook and work the slip stitch, and then 1 chain. And just like before, we're not adding in any stitches, we're not adding in any chains, but go straight across, just go across that join into the corner chain space of the next square we're going to join, the front square, work your slip stitch, make 1 chain, and then into the corresponding corner chain space of the rear square to be joined. Work your slip stitch, then make 1 chain, and now you're back onto your stitches going all the way. So here's the first stitch, a bit less clear to see that first stitch, might be sort of captured into that corner. There it is, and then work your slip stitch into that very first one on the front square, make your 1 chain, and then on the rear square, there's the first stitch, second one, work your slip stitch, 1 chain, and then carry on across the side. And then let me just show you what that's looking like going across. So there you can see now, if I just put my hook down, there is the horizontal join that I did going across, and now the vertical join is just spanning across there like so, and you just carry on. Let me show you a piece that has been completely joined using this technique. So the joins going across, and it's just really, really nice and firm but stretchy, and gives a lovely, lovely texture. So I hope you have found this tutorial helpful. It's just a different way to join these granny square motifs, and it's a way that I really like, but there are many, many other ways. They all have different benefits, they all have different reasons why you might choose them, personal preference, look, you know, textures. There's no right or wrong. I've just shown you a slightly different way. Thanks for watching. Take care.